Well, hello, how are you doing? It's Dave here. Welcome back to the channel. Now, I've had a fair few requests asking me how we go about filming what we film. So I'm going to do a quick overview of what we use to do this. The kind of stuff we've been using and what we're going to be using in the future. So sit down, grab yourself a coffee or a tea or a gin or a beer and enjoy this video from Vandromeda's Travels. Now, the first beastie I'm going to talk about is what's in this little pouch. It is the Insta360 OneX, and it is, as you may be able to see, a 360-degree camera that is very small, very light, very neat. And you'll recognise the footage from this because it's the camera that normally sits just beside the sat-nav. The beauty about it is it sees everything all the way around it, top and bottom, all the way around, 360 degrees, a complete sphere is what it sees. It outputs flat video files, in other words, the kind of thing that you're looking at now. What actually comes out of the camera is a full 360 degrees, and I've got to edit it. But what I like to do, rather than pull up a 360 degree video that you can sit and mess about with, I'll pull it out so that it looks pretty much like what you're looking at now. And that way I can point the camera anywhere I like after the event. Now, the audio out of this actually isn't bad. It works quite well, and you've heard audio from it on our channel. I'd prefer better, I have to be honest, but it does do the trick, and it does do the trick reasonably well. It's certainly good enough to hear. It's not always brilliant, but it is what it is. So that's what you've been seeing from the front of the van. It mounts just here, but just in front of the sat-nav, so it looks back over towards where you are stood at the moment, and also out of the front and out of both side windows. So we can, if we've missed it with something else, we can pick it up with the 360 degree camera, the Insta360 OneX. This has just been replaced by the Insta360 OneX 2, which is a mouthful and a half. But frankly, there's not enough differences to make it worth our while upgrading, although if Insta360 would like to send me one to play with, I'd quite happily do a comparison. The new one, the OneX 2, will apparently take external audio in. This one won't. We do have this powered all of the time, but it's only switched on when we want to record. So that's the Insta360 OneX. Cracking camera, and it does stuff that works out quite nicely and will give us a standard video frame such as you're looking at now at 1080p. That's 1920 all the way along the top and 1080 from top to bottom, which is a resolution that most people can see. Next up is the DJI Osmo Pocket and more. Right, the DJI Osmo Pocket. This is it. Just going to show it like this. It's a delightful little piece of kit. It's a gimbal, is what it is. So you point it at what you want to look at, and it keeps it steady. When you get it right, that is. You can attach it to a phone, whether it's an iPhone or any other kind of phone, and control this gimbal head from your phone or from anywhere else if it comes to that. It's got all kinds of ways of doing things, more of which anon. Yes, the Osmo Pocket. One of the great things, or one of the reasons that we got this, was so that Jill could, when she's out on her walks, take nice video. And the beauty about an Osmo Pocket is it's stabilized, mechanically stabilized via the gimbal. So as you move it up and down or from side to side, the footage stays level as it's meant to. But it is, from the point of view of what we're currently doing, ideal. So much so that we've upgraded and bought the Osmo Pocket 2, but I'm going to do a separate video on the Osmo Pocket 2 because that's going to be used in slightly different ways to what we were doing before. And finally we have this, which does not come out of the factory looking like that. In fact, let me just remove it. It comes out of the factory looking like this. It is a Sony FDR X3000, which I have added the filter to in order to keep things as they should be. It's what gets used on my bike, which is why this thing's as filthy as it is. And this looks a little bit like a lens hood, and in fact it is, and this goes up against the front window because this is front window cam, and this is a new addition. The idea being to stop reflections coming up, so you see that little bit of gold or whatever it is that gets reflected into the camera via the windscreen, which it does. Again, all of these cameras are 4K cameras, which means that they do everything in 4K resolution, which is 4 times more pixels than you would get with a 1080p resolution, which is probably the resolution you'll be watching this in, because I tend to keep it at 1080p, just makes life easier. There is one other camera outside of the drone which we use, and that is my top end, high end. This is the camera I use for when I'm being really serious about what I do. And let me just try and show you what that is. This is it. This is a Canon EOS R, and on top of it you will see, if I can show you, a Saramonic. Might look better if I go that way. It's a Saramonic radio microphone, Wi-Fi microphone, the sender for which looks like that. Get it in focus, David. There you are. Or do this. Get it in focus with that one. So there you are, the Saramonic Blink 500 transmitter. The EOS R, as cameras go, is a go-to camera for me. I've been a Canon shooter for an awful lot of years. I used to actually make part of my living from being a photographer, and I used to do a fair amount of videography as well, and indeed part of my degree studies, teacher training studies, call them what you will, included videography and photography. So it's been a hobby of mine for an awful long time, and as you might have gathered, I like the technology. Now the EOS R is not a cheap camera, but it is a very capable camera. It gives wonderful, I think, colours. It's beautiful footage. It edits very well. As cameras go, I really like it. So I use it for astrophotography, I use it for video, I use it for still photographs, and if I want real quality, that's where I'll go to. So yes, that's a basic roundup of where we are. Sound wise, as I say, we're trying these Saramonic Blink 500s out because both of us can have a microphone on, and it be picked up and go into right in the middle of the sound field on a video, which I then edit in one of two ways depending on where we are. If we're in Vandromeda, out on the road, I'll quite likely use my iPad Pro with a program called LumaFusion, which I shall show you in another video. If I'm in the house, then I'll either use my Mac Pro with Final Cut Pro, or if she who must be obeyed lets me get away with it, I might get one of the new Apple MacBooks with the M1 processor, and that might go everywhere because it'll run both Final Cut Pro, which is desktop only, and LumaFusion, which is iOS only at the moment, but will also run on the M1 processor Macs. Anyway, there you go. Now, I'm sure that this will have raised more questions than it's answered. If you have any questions about what we do, how we do it, why we do it, please do feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I still like that one. Do leave them in the comment section down there, and I'll come back to you and answer them as best I can, and if necessary, if it needs another video, then we'll do that as well. I'll leave it there for the moment. I'll explain frame rates and resolutions a little more when I go through how we edit the videos together, and in fact I'll use this video that you're watching now. I'll show you how I've edited that together to do what you are seeing now, so you'll get some idea of how it happens. And I'll probably do it in LumaFusion because most of the stuff that you've seen on the channel has been done in LumaFusion on the iPad. So for now, if you found it useful, and I really hope you have, then please do give us a thumbs up. We like that. If you found it less than useful, or you're dissatisfied in any way, give it a thumbs down. But please do let me know in the comments why you've put a thumbs down. That way we can make it better. If you are already a subscriber, can I say a heartfelt thank you. Thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. If you're not yet a subscriber, please would you consider so doing, and thank you for doing that. And we'll see you on the next video. Until then, as much as you can, enjoy the roads, enjoy the skies, but most of all, enjoy your lives. See you next time. Take care. Bye bye.